Well, hello there, and welcome to the bedroom of the dollhouse for another reading from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Joost Elfers for November 9th, the day of earthly temptation. That's right, and here at the top of the page is a visual representation of the day of earthly temptation. Well, we have us an image of, what is it? Boom! It's a number of trophies, one of which is empty. The other has, I'm assuming, some roses, and the other, well, it's containing some fire. That's right. Hey, it's got all the different temptations in there, I would suppose. And if that is that an adequate representation of your day? Who's to say? I don't know. Maybe we can make some connotations as we get in with the reading, but that's not altogether all too important. What is important, though, is it's someone's birthday today. That's right. Is it November 9th and it's your birthday? Well, if it is, I just want to say happy birthday. That's what's important. Wishing you a happy birthday. Now, if this video finds you late, as sometimes happens, days, weeks, months, individuals get busy, no judgment. Well, if that's the case, I just want to say I hope you had a happy birthday. That's right. But for everyone else who's joining us, hey, randomly or more ideally to celebrate the November 9th birthday, well, I just want to say hello, welcome, and I hope you enjoy yourself. Now, before we dive in with the birthday redirect, something I like to do around these here parts, and that's roll some dice. It is the DykASSt birthday broadcast, so I like to live up to the namesake, but I do so more importantly. Oh, we got to roll them. Got to roll them. That's right. We do so more importantly for synchronicity's sake. And we rolled us, folks, a 6 and a 3 for a 9. That's right, November 9th, 6 and a 3 for a 9. Yesterday, we rolled us an 8. Believe it or not, it doesn't always happen that these come together like that. So that's a great example of synchronicity. That's right. Now, what else is synchronicity, you're probably wondering? Well, it's just you getting out in the world and letting the universe show you it's with you on your path. So you can see, taste, touch, and feel the magic of the universe being there with you. Too often in life we go through, and I'm assuming we don't see a lot of the things that get laid out for us because we're just kind of blind to it. And this is just one of these ways to kind of help you see that it's there with you. And you do that by finding a mutually agreed upon benchmark, a sign if you like, and that could be anything. But well, for this example, it's your daily numbers there. Now you can roll any numbers you like, so you get your own mutually agreed upon benchmark there. But hey, the intention's here for you with your 3 and your 6 for a 9. But in any event, yeah, get you your own set of dice too, preferably, so you can get out there and ascribe waypoints or directional values rather for number sets and time limits by which to go in those directions. That's right. So let's say you start off from the town square. You roll yourself whatever you decide the northerly direction is, and you roll yourself 9 minutes. Let's stick with 9 for everything. And so at the end of that time limit, well, you find yourself at the street corner, right? Well, so you stop, compose yourself, and you look for your signs. That's right. You're 6 and you're 3 for a 9. And maybe, I don't know, maybe a car comes by and it says, 36 in the license plate. Well, you know what? Hey, that's one of your signs, right? So roll yourself a time limit there and follow that car. That's what I'm saying. Even if you don't see it, go by your numbers there. And then when you stop, again, compose yourself. And maybe you don't see any numbers this time. Hey, you know what? Sometimes it's just anomalies in our environment. Maybe you notice somebody who's wearing something that just stands out amongst everybody else in the crowd. Or maybe there's no one else on the street and there's just one individual that comes by. Hey, you know what? Roll yourself another time value. See how long to follow them for. That's right. You give yourself enough time to roll the dice. It's going to put a little bit of space between you. You're not here to creep on folks, but you know what? The universe might be just throwing them in there as a little bit of a mix up there. And who's to say? Maybe by the time that value's up to follow them, you find yourself in front of a building that has your numbers in it. You know what? Maybe it's a store that sells trophies. That's right. Well, hey, go on in there. See what you see. You might not be in the market for a trophy, but I don't know. Maybe you meet somebody interesting. Maybe the person behind the counter there asks you what they can help you with. You say, I'm just here for synchronicity. And they say, what are you talking about? Maybe you show them this video, right? And they're like, that's crazy. And you go, why is that? And they go, well, it's my birthday too. Oh, maybe it's something like that. You never know. The universe has a way of lining things up for us when we're actually looking for them. In any event, hey, that seems like it might be a pretty preposterous turn of events, but you never know. You got to get out there and see for yourself. But I think you get the idea. So let's get on with your birthday read. Your month is November. Your day is the 9th. Your sign is 16 to 18 degrees Scorpio of the Scorpio II period specifically. And your quality and elements is fixed water. All right, November 9th, the day of earthly temptations. Those born on November 9 face a tremendous temptation to give themselves completely to the here and now, to earthly pleasures of all types, and to submerge themselves in an unremitting search for experimental highs. They are often completely caught up in the excitement of what they are doing at the moment, and thus not fully aware of the dark forces that may be operating behind their drives. And for those born on this day, to look at themselves squarely in the eye is a tremendous and potentially rewarding challenge, as is learning how to direct their prodigious talents and energies in a conservative and productive way. Temptation itself figures as a major theme in the lives of November 9 people, and along with it, corresponding moral dilemmas involving upbringing versus adult experience, societal versus personal morality, etc. And usually the ethical instincts of those born on this day are well developed, so when they sin, they are fully aware of what they are doing. Nevertheless, some born on this day may reach a point where they are only able to find satisfaction, whether mental or physical, when engaged in dangerous, shadowy, or otherwise outright illicit activities. Oh, a very positive theme central to the lives of these complex people is the joy of discovery. Often they emerge from their intense experiences having made important realizations about themselves as well as life itself. Those November 9 people who grow up more philosophical with age are capable of withdrawing into a contemplative or meditative state where they can assess their actions and make prudent choices for their future. Still, even after acquiring a large measure of wisdom, those born on this day rarely pause in the thick of battle to ponder their direction. For them, such work is to be done afterwards, preferably in tranquility. November 9 people live close to the edge and therefore must learn to protect themselves. In addition, it is important for them to maintain respect of their fellow human beings and to beware of becoming mercenary in their relationships, as they are highly sensitive to rejection. Those born on this day also face the danger of retreating into themselves, nursing private grudges and fears, and even in extreme cases coming to live in a dark fantasy world. More highly evolved individuals born on November 9 use their profound relationship with the dark side to gain insight into how life and the universe work, and equally important, learn to share these insights with others. And like Orpheus rising from the underworld, November 9 people must never look back, but constantly move onward and upward toward the light. And the greatest danger is that they will get stuck, particularly in the physical, material realm, it says in parentheticals. And for this reason, they should set themselves high moral and ethical, albeit worldly, goals. All right, how about that for a pretty complex birthday read there for the breakdown? And let me tell you, I like to provide a little bit of a commentary, get into some notes on everything. And this one, I had to get a little philosophical with myself, so bear with me if you like. All right, let's get into it. All right, some notes here for November 9, the day of earthly temptation. It says you're faced with tremendous temptation to give yourselves to the here and the now, earthly pleasures, and the ceaseless search for experimental highs, to the extent that you get so submerged in excitement that you may not be aware of what you're doing in the here and now, right? And thus, the dark forces behind your motivations there. See, that's one loaded premise in my mind. First off, you want to give yourself to the moment so much that you're no longer aware of what you're actually doing, right? But then, perhaps more importantly, apparently your motives to do as much might be wicked. Now, I know they didn't use the word wicked, but hey, wicked's better, right? You also might not know those are your motivations either, apparently. So like I said, fairly loaded concept. So good luck figuring out what to do with that. All right. Let's see. The reading also suggests directing your talents to constructive endeavors and to look yourself squarely in the eye. All right. Take an objective view of yourself, in another way of saying it. At least determine your motivations, if you like, because you apparently also are aware of when you sin. All right. And you might reach a point where those activities are your only satisfaction. So there's an inherent disconnect the way I read this. So maybe you only fail to recognize what you're doing when excited. All right, maybe that's part of it. But when you're not excited, you chase that sin to the point you don't realize it's a sin because you want to get that excitement going again, right? Anyway, the reading further claims that you're a complex individual, all right? And I would say that doesn't cover the half of it based on the breakdown. But to which, ostensibly disconnected writing notwithstanding, assuming it applies, right, I would agree. That's a complex definition there. But apparently discovering the central theme in your life. So if that area is wanting, well, do I have something for you to spend the rest of your life contemplating? All right, trying to discover the meaning of why, just this whole thing. Just try to rewind it back, see what it's all about, and try to figure out the meaning of it. The likes of which I would agree, the reading claims, you'll come away with important realizations about. And if you're becoming philosophical with age, as it also said, well, let me tell you what, you got your work cut out for you trying to figure that whole thing out. But you certainly stand to gain some wisdom, if anything, all right? Especially if your dark connection lends insight into how life in the universe work. All right, I got to go on to the other page here. It says, I realize this is, what do we got here? A crazy seeming tangent to go off on with regard to your personality breakdown, but I can't help but think if you can get off those, if you can get those complex considerations underfoot, the wisdom gained from such an exploration is going to carry over to just everything else that they mentioned in the breakdown. So do like Orpheus and rise from the underworld, all right? Constantly moving toward the light while never looking back and taking everything that you've experienced with you up to the more desirable realm. That's right. And just don't get stuck, all right? Regardless the temptation and no matter how complex. All right, that's right. So that's been your birthday breakdown. I went a little bit philosophical with it. Normally I go point by point. But you know what? This one was just too interesting for me to not try figuring out a little bit more. And just trying to dive into the idea of gaining some of that wisdom. I just really like that. So in any event, hey, that's been your birthday breakdown. Let's move on to your numbers and your planets. That's right, your numbers and your planets. Those born on the 9th of the month are ruled by the number 9 and the planet Mars. The number 9 is powerful in its influence on other numbers. To say any number added to 9 yields that number. An example being 5 plus 9 equals 14 and 1 plus 4 equals 5. And any number multiplied by 9 yields a 9. An example being 9 times 5 is 45 and 4 plus 5 equals 9. All right. And the ability of November 9 people to influence others is similarly enhanced. The planet Mars is forceful and aggressive, embodying male energy. And for November 9 people, both men and women, it says in parentheticals, this is doubly true since Mars is also a co-ruler of the sign Scorpio. And when combined with Pluto, the principal ruler, Mars's potential for ruthlessness and blind ambition is augmented. So it is the potential for meaningful and deeply transformative changes. All right, hey, they personalized this numbers and planets for you a little bit. The whole number 9 thing and all the math in there, that's kind of a copy-paste job. But when it comes to Scorpio, that Pluto aspect really changes things up, so they had to personalize it for you. Because every other day, it kind of has its own potential to be copy-pasted. Because every other day kind of can have every other planet except Pluto. But Scorpio period is different. Pluto's its own thing with that, so they got to personalize it for you. I think you get the point. So let's see what I had to say about your numbers and planets here. Mars in 9 for that god of war and god of war energy rather, and the numbers influence. But with Scorpio's Pluto Mars dynamic, you are extended a stronger potential for forceful and aggressive energy. All right, ruthlessness and blind ambition, which is a drive to succeed, but with little regard for ethical boundaries or empathy for others, as far as blind ambition is concerned. I had to look it up because I wasn't sure it was something that you were actually blind to or not, in a visual sense. That said, I say don't focus on the negative. You also have the potential for meaningful and deeply transformative change, much the same way other Scorpios also. And they're influenced by the darker aspects, the shadowy natures too. So you know what? Keep that positive influence going, even if the darkness is all around you. That's right. So the choice is yours whether to lean into your shoot first and analyze later temptation, or the ability to withdraw into a focused state of contemplative assessment. It's a big ask to decide in which you'll ascribe value. But you live close to the edge too, apparently. And this is a day of big decisions and hard choices. And you know what? At least that's the way I read it. And you know what? Life is all about those too. At least I would argue. Any event, what else do we have here? Oh yeah, that's it. That's your numbers and planets. I missed a little bit of a line there. So let's move on to your tarot card. That's right, the tarot. One of the more eclectic of the New Age metaphysical ideologies, if you like, but it's here in the book. It's your birthday. Let's dive into it, shall we? We don't have to take it home and start dealing the cards out to influence our every life's decision and whim. And some of us think it's blasphemy, and you like to live on the edge, right? Get into those darker things. I don't think the tarot is necessarily a darker thing, but hey, let's entertain it if we like. The 9th card of the tarot's major arcana is the Hermit, who is usually depicted walking with a lantern and a stick. And he represents meditation, isolation, and quietude. And the card also signifies crystallized wisdom and practiced discipline. Positive side of the card is stick-to-itiveness, purpose, profundity, and concentration. Negative qualities include dogmatism, intolerance, mistrust, and discouragement. And November 9, people must beware of becoming too withdrawn from the world, like the Hermit, but perhaps can learn from his positive introspection. All right. Hey, what I have to say about your tarot. They personalize this one a little bit for you. The past few days, they haven't done as much. All right, your tarot card here. The Hermit for crystallized wisdom and practice discipline. Such an apt card, I would argue, all right? Wisdom comes from experience. But if you're really wise, it doesn't have to come from your own experience. That's what I say, all right? It says you're motivated by a conscience, and the Hermit relates stick-to-itiveness, all right? Profundity and concentration, but negatives of dogmatism, intolerance, and discouragement, all right? Protect yourself, but don't withdraw, all right? Consider what's required to maintain respect of your fellow man, like was mentioned previously. Yeah, that's, you know what, just great little bit of advice there, I would say, is insofar as what they kind of weaved into it. And you know what, the Hermit totally spoke to this philosophical nature that was mentioned previously in the breakdown. So I thought it was a great representation there. And maybe even they drew from the tarot to write the breakdown, who's to say. But at any event, that's been your tarot. Let's move on to your health. Oh, your health. Let's get it. Those born on November 9 at some point will have to deal with their internal emotional roller coaster. Ups and downs might be evened out by a balanced diet and plenty of exercise. Perhaps practicing yoga and meditation could also prove beneficial. Food-wise, it may be necessary to cut down on yang foods, particularly meat, it says in parentheticals, and to move more in a direction of a vegetarian diet. Vigorous activities that favor betterment of objective goals, gymnastics, rock climbing, surfing, etc., may meet the rugged appetites of November 9 people. Plenty of sleep is important, but should not be abused as an escape from the waking world. All right. Hey, I like this one. What I have to say about your health here. Emotional roller coaster, living on the edge again. All right. Let's see what we got here. Thrilling, but exhausting, I bet, even if just mentally. We have a balanced diet and exercise, and they suggest yoga and meditation. Calm that dual god of war energy, ostensibly. So consider a vegetarian diet, apparently. They don't always mention that, or often mention it. It comes up once in a while, so maybe give it a try. I don't know. See how you feel from it. What happens? What else we got here? Vegetarian diet. Activities that favor objective goals, all right? Smart. That crystallized hermit wisdom there. Double duty, if you like. If you can find a way of making your job an activity, you know what I'm saying? Double duty. All right, what else we got here? Plenty of sleep, too, but don't abuse it as an escape. That's smart. It's apt. I like it. And I think it's the first time they've ever mentioned it. And you know what? Guilty of it myself. Got to make myself get out of bed sometimes. Thankfully, my body kind of doesn't let me sleep too long, or else I start just contorting in pain and getting sore and tight. And it's just like, up, got to get up, got to move around. Don't want to, but kind of have to. So in any event, hey, you might not face that, so you might have to force yourself to get up, get out. Who's to say? In any event, that's been your health, so let's move on to some advice. All right, your advice. Cultivate your spiritual side, all right? Learn to float, it says. Don't just enjoy your pleasures. Be aware of their effect. Step back from time to time and observe yourself living. Heed your inner voice and follow your higher self. All right, hey, I like it. Learn to float. All right. I don't have anything in the notepad. I had to write it in the book, but I just had to make sure I didn't carry over. What I had to say about your advice. Here we go. Cultivate spirit. Learn to float. I like that. Try astral projection, perhaps. Literally float out of your own body. Objective goal that incites meditation, and it also helps with insomnia. Because a lot of times I try to do it. Obviously, I fail, but you know what? Out like a light. So there's baked in benefits even if you fail. All right, what else have we got here? Don't just enjoy pleasures. Be aware of your effect, it says. See your role in everything, even passive escape, I'm guessing. Good practice for active living is what I wrote here. When you give to the here and now, heed the hermit's call to conscience and higher self, all right? Rise to the light from the shadows. All right. Yeah. There's some of your advice. Threw a little bit more philosophical bend on it again for you there. You can rewind it, take what you need from it. But that being said, we got something else up ahead for you here. And what is it? Your meditation. Here's a literal meditation for you, just for you. All right, you ready? The act of succumbing to temptation holds many mighty challenges. Once more, the act of succumbing to temptation holds many mighty challenges. All right, hey, there's your meditation. I'm not going to throw a spin on it or interpretation of as much. It's your birthday, your meditation. That's just for you. That being said, with your meditation in the can, let's hold up the objective mirror so you can look yourself squarely in the eye, as they said, and move on to your strengths and your weaknesses. That's right. Hey, can you guess what they are? I'm sure we covered them to some extent here. So let's get into your strengths. Your strengths, you're physical, you're insistent, and you're open. All right. You know, I don't know that I got those, but hey, take it on the word of the book. Higher minds there. They did the research. But your weaknesses, let's hold up that objective mirror. All right, your weaknesses, you're impulsive, you're troubled, and materially stuck. You know what? Trouble's been popping up the last few days. Surprisingly, they don't often repeat like that. But you know what? You know what that tells me? You're in good company, all right? You're not alone in this endeavor. And you know what? All that stuff can be improved upon. Impulsive, troubled, and materially stuck. Maybe I read that wrong. Materially stuck. Because you got the strengths of being physical, insistent, and open, all right? And coupled with all the other advice, you know what? I think you're going to be just fine. You're free to float. You're free to float. That being said, those have been your strengths and your weaknesses. Let's move on. Those born on this day. You might have noticed a little bit of a time jump. Hey, my B camera went down, so we just got to press ahead. That's right. That being said, when we dive into those born on this day, I like to do a little bit of a segue. So we not only see who shares your company, but we also consider what your passions are. And I say that because all too often I get out in the world and I meet folks and I ask them what they do. But more importantly, if they like it, a lot of times they don't. And who can blame them? You know, you get out of school, you get right into a job, and it might be a career path that you have zero interest in. But you know what's the first thing that came along? Put food on the table, keep a roof over your head, and we just keep going up the corporate ladder there and keep making more money. Just keep getting sucked further and further into something we maybe don't have any kind of desire to do. And so here I think it's interesting to not only see who is born on this day, who shares your company, but what they did to get their stamp in the book, you know, or on the map there. And a little bit of cultural fame, if you like. But hey, maybe we can draw some inspiration for that. If you find yourself in a similar position, you don't know what your passions are. Because you know what, maybe you just didn't have the time to put into work to figure those things out. But here, maybe we can maybe get them fires started. That's right. Drive up a little bit of inspiration, if you like, if anything. Just put the worm in your ear. That's right. So in any event, hey, let's move on to it. See who shares your company. We have Ivan Turgenev, who was a Russian playwright, novelist of fathers and sons. Stanford White, an architect, millionaire, and seducer of young girls, it says. Shot and killed by an enraged husband. All right. Look out for that collateral damage. It might come back to bite you. All right. Not necessarily with that situation, but anything. We also have Hedy Lamarr, an Austrian-born film actress of 6 marriages, it says. Carl Sagan, the astronomer, biologist, Mars and Venus expert, and a Pulitzer Prize-winning writer of The Dragons of Eden. We also have Bob Gibson, St. Louis Cardinals baseball pitcher, 2-time Cy Young winner, 1.2 ERA season for you baseball fans. I'm not sure what that means. He was also a 2-time series MVP and a season MVP. We also have Florence Chadwick, the U.S. champion English Channel swimmer, Tommy Dorsey, a trombonist and a band leader, Mae Marsh, the silent film actress, and the original Goodwin girl, or Goldwyn rather, that's right. Florence Sabian, the medical researcher, embryonologist, and the first woman on the Johns Hopkins medical faculty. We have Sergeant Shriver, Peace Corps head and businessman, as well as a lawyer. We also have Herbert T. Klamas, or Klamas perhaps, a Technicolor inventor, Marie Dressler, film actress. We also have Ronald Harwood, South African novelist, playwright, and the TV writer of The Dresser. And we also have Tom Weiskopf, golf champion and a British Open winner, Spiro Agnew, U.S. Vice President. And it says, resigned over tax evasion and bribery charges. We also have Whitney Herzog, St. Louis baseball manager, and he took the team to the World Series victory. And we also have Sharon Stouter, U.S. Olympic gold medal swimmer. Ed Wynn, the comedian, TV and film actor. Edward VII, the British 20th century king. And Lou Ferrigno, a bodybuilder and TV actor of Incredible Hulk fame. And that has been those born on this day. We had actors, we had doctors, sports figures. We also had some musicians. Hey, all sorts of places to take inspiration from. But that being said, hey, maybe none of those fuel your fire. You know what? It's a big-ass tall order, but hopefully just stirring up the idea gets you thinking about it. If it's something you're suffering with. That's right. Because you want to get out of bed and be doing backflips to get into your day and not just sloughing along. That's right. That's right. Boy, got to fight those shadowy forces if we can help it. That's right. But in any event, with that being said, and those born on this day in the can, that essentially rounds out your birthday read, except to say, your season is fall. Your sign, once again, is Scorpio of the Scorpio II period specifically. And your quality and element is fixed water. And what does that mean? Well, that's a different video entirely. And, I got that on the channel too, so you can dive in if you're interested. But that being said, that essentially rounds out your birthday reading for November 9th, the day of earthly temptations. From the Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Used Elfers. I have an affiliate link for this book down in the description. Save you the hassle of having to type it in the browser if you're interested in picking up a copy or a coffee too. It makes an excellent coffee table book if you're in the market for something to get the party started, if you're having some company over. And you know what is going to get a conversation going for better or for worse, or break literal ice if you get the hard copy, considering its girth. That's right. But in any event, that's not what's important here. What's important, once again, is it's somebody's birthday and wishing you a happy birthday. That's right. Happy birthday. And for everyone else who joined us, well, I hope you enjoyed yourself and you join us for your birthday read. But that being said, lest we forget, your daily numbers. That's right. Your 3 and your 6 for a 9. Get out there and let the universe show you it's with you on your path. See, taste, touch, and feel the magic. It said you were open for adventure and those kinds of things. Seeing what the universe and life had in store for you. Temptations, if you like, the here and now. Hey, get out there and let the universe show you it's with you. All right? I think you'll enjoy it if you get out there and do. And you know what? It's just good to try and broaden our horizons and see what might be right in front of us that we're already missing. That's right. So I hope that works for you. Hope you enjoy yourself. You got to do something for your birthday. Yeah, it's keep it fun and light. That's right. Any event, once again, I just want to say happy birthday. All right? Take care of yourselves.